tell me, as you've been a part of this journey with Church Mag, where do you feel like the church has really progressed when it comes to technology, and where do you feel like they've really lagged behind?
I think one of the big things that at least as far as with Church Mag and interacting with other people that are trying to invest in the conversations on here, I think that people are finally asking the right questions. I think that people are asking questions in general, which I think a lot of times are simply missing. And so they're challenging that process of, what does it mean? What does it mean to have success? What does it mean for us to go beyond our comfort zone? And so I think that there's a lot of great things that can happen with that, not just for the church itself, which is great to build up the church, to impact the congregation and the leaders to get a message out there. But I think a lot of times, at least especially with the place where we're at with 2016, we're looking outside of ourselves. So if you look at a lot of the social media stuff that's being talked about with churches, it has nothing to do with trying to get people in the church, but simply sharing the gospel with people. There's this whole mentality of, and I don't think it's fully worked out, of how do we spread the gospel to people on the internet in general and try to get the community invested. And I think it's inherently put with this conversation about community, and the one conversation that kind of represents all of this is, instead of trying to figure out how to get people into our church, they partner with all the different churches in the community and say, how do we get these people into a church, period?
Yeah.
So it's not a me versus them mentality. It's just let's get people hearing about the gospel in general, regardless if we get tithes and offerings or another person to add to our congregation list or whatever.
That's awesome.
That being said, I think that some of the lag behind is with every new thing, there's some money that's involved.
Yeah.
Technology in and of itself, there's a lot of expenses. And that's not including the man hours that go behind this, where we always say, you're working 20 hours, but you're going to get paid for 20 hours, but you're going to work about 60.
Yep.
And so just this mentality of all the difficulties that fall behind with this, and then just the trying to be the thought leaders in that process, not necessarily the thought adopters, but the thought leaders in those conversations. I think that sometimes we're falling behind with that process as well.